Any advice or any thoughts I have on this? Yeah, I'll just say it. First of all, if you want to break into this business, know what it is that you want to do. That's number one. Know what kind of work you want to do. Do you want to do fantasy? Do you want to do superheroes? Do you want to do sci-fi? Do you want to do manga? Do you want to do, Marvel? Do you want to do DC? Know what it is that you want to do and focus in on that. And once you know what it is that you want to do, develop your portfolio. Because a portfolio is just as relevant today as it was 50 years ago, 30 years ago, 100 years ago. You have to have pages to show. No one's going to hire you. You might jump in on this. You can't, no one's going to hire you without seeing your work. So once you have a portfolio, obviously you have to show it. So going to conventions is a really good thing. You can't do this without networking. You need to find a mentor. You need to find someone to give you advice. You need to find somebody that will say, this page doesn't work, but this is a good page, and if you can do one good page, you can do another. You need someone to cling to and to give you advice and to shepherd you through. You also need, a social media presence.
I was going to say a lot of young editors now today use that as their resource to find artists,
right?
Sequential artists, cover artists, whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
I know that a lot of my students who are big, Instagram posters and Facebook posters, they have found work because editors reach out but also, this is a more complicated. There's a lot that goes into breaking in, and there's no one way anymore. You don't need to work at Marvel or DC anymore. You can work at any of the 100 other companies that are around.
Or you can just self-publish.
And self-publishing, I think, is the way to go. If you self-publish, that means that you have a product that you can give to someone and use that as a step to increasing your page rate, because let's face it, you have to make a living doing this. Because if you're doing it and you're not making a living, it's hard. Yeah. That's hard. So you need to increase your page rate. You need to increase your profile, your social media presence, your following, your followers. Yeah. You need to use that. Use self-publishing as a way to get to the next step. Sometimes self-publishing, you won't need to get to the next step, or you don't care about getting to the next step. It's possible you can make a fine living publishing your own book. But there's a lot of, and Chris, jump in here, but there's a lot of, what I find happening right now in the business is that it's not, the need for a portfolio is never going to change. You're always going to have pages to show. And those pages to show are going to be, they have to have storytelling knowledge. Yes. You have to know what you're doing in terms of telling a story. So you need to investigate that. You need to study that. And you need to learn about what storytelling is. In terms of, there are so many publishers right now, and there are so many options for you, that you have to become business savvy. Each publisher has a different contract, or not a contract, or each publisher has a different business model. Will you do this graphic novel for free and get money at the back end? Will you get money up front for the pages? You have to be aware that every publisher has a different way of paying you, a different way of contracting you to do business, And some are better than others. And so it requires a certain amount of not only storytelling and artistic knowledge, but the business end of it too. And if you're not doing both, you're at a disadvantage. And part of the disadvantage is because, when I was breaking in, it was just Marvel and DC. We didn't even have FedEx. We would have to tape the pages to gerbils and send them in, pigeons.
In New York we had pigeons,
Yeah, it just,
But I mean, all of that really is irrelevant in terms of you need to know your craft. You need to know how to tell a story to be a sequential.
Yeah, and
artist.
listen,
That's where you start.
My experience in at school is that it's really hard.
And it's competitive. There's so many artists today.
That's what I wanted to say too. That because of the internet, your competition, my competition was the tri-state area. I was in Connecticut, New Jersey, New York.
Right.
That's it. Because those are the 3 states that could come to New York and be my competition.
Right.
Now your competition is what?
The world.
The whole freaking world. And, people who are willing to also work for $20 a page. So that's another element about the business end of it. But your competition is the whole world. And that's a lot of competition. That's hard.